We are the German Mill Mavericks, and this is our inquiry learning.
Our school's goal is to engage in deep learning through global competencies such as collaboration, creativity and innovation, critical thinking, and communication.
Based on student need, our identified student outcomes are that they will be engaged in their learning, using technology meaningfully, and are able to generate ideas and use planning skills.
The behaviors we are looking for in our students are: students have an element of choice and in their purpose of the activities that they're doing. Students have an authentic audience. Technology is innovative, not just a substitute for pencil and paper. Students are developing meaningful questions. Students are managing time, accessing and applying feedback, reflecting and setting goals.
We're very lucky that we have a very supportive administrator who is willing to give us the kind of release time we need when we're involved in these kinds of learning experiences. So we do have weekly job-embedded professional learning time, and our groups meet they get to meet about once a month. And those groups have been decided either by common student need or by division. It's actually pretty much by both of those things. We get some time in our staff meetings. We were engaged in a partial book study, Diving into Inquiry by Trevor McKenzie. We do try and create opportunities for team teaching and for teachers being able to co-teach, especially in the intermediate division. We were able to make that happen a lot and to engage in the 4Cs process. And anytime we ask for a half-a-day release time, we are usually granted as long as we put together a proposal. So this team was given 1 half-a-day release time in addition to the other network learning days that we had. So some of the learning we've engaged in, we were actually engaging in a collaborative inquiry. So after identifying student need and choosing some of the things that we needed to learn in order to meet those student needs, we looked at project-based learning versus projects. We looked at the 4 stages of inquiry and decided we were going to start with a structured inquiry and move along until we were able to implement a free inquiry, which we are implementing in the form of Genius Hour. We've been looking at different modern learning strategies such as digital breakouts. We've been focusing a lot on developing inquiries, providing feedback, students providing feedback to students, teachers providing feedback to students. We learned a lot from the John Almerode keynote and from the Trevor McKenzie keynote at our modern learning sessions, and we have used a lot of YouTube videos.
So the barriers that we faced were access to technology, of course, as all teachers say, time to implement, our continued professional development, student risk-taking, student perseverance, having them actually keep on trying when they got to a wall or a roadblock, trying to help them to overcome that and climb that wall, and the various research skills necessary for the students to continue in their own learning.
We used a variety of resources, including videos, chapters from books, Facebook groups, and a ton of professional dialogue with our innovative team.
So like we already mentioned, a few of our groups were engaging in a collaborative inquiry process. So we began by looking at the behaviors of our students and identifying their strengths and areas of need. And once we identified their areas of need, we decided what we needed to learn in order to meet those needs, and that's where we engaged in a lot of professional dialogue and where we gathered all of those resources that were just spoken about. After we had done our own learning, then we had a lot of trying and experimenting and using the gradual release of responsibility model and having students work collaboratively and us as well working collaboratively with each other. And then at our monthly PLT meetings, we were able to reflect on things that worked, things that didn't work, and set goals for future learning and future trying. And with our reflection, we took a lot of photos, we took some video footage, and again, a lot of professional conversation and a collection of products that we could analyze.
Our next steps include helping to foster creativity with more guided inquiry and continue the process of gradual release of responsibility. We want to continue to educate the students on their key skills in terms of their research skills to help them with the inquiry process and help the students reach the goal of embedding the free inquiry into their learning.
So we would like all this whole process to help the students to improve their ability to look beyond the basic information acquired, but get a better understanding of the research process. We would also like a greater desire to investigate and gather information and to develop a better understanding of how to create the inquiry questions. So in kindergarten, we provided them with an inquiry question, which was, how do the Olympics impact us, our community, and our country? So we had to make sure that they had an idea of what the word impact means, so we spent time discussing that. And then we sort of grew the understanding from impact to community. So we talked about our community and things we saw in our community and different communities around us. Then we sort of stretched it out to the country. And by doing that, we went into each province. We didn't go to each province. We explored different landmarks in each province so they can have an understanding of the amazing things our country has to offer. We implemented the use of technology in a whole variety of aspects. So we were doing sorting with color in the with different flags, and we learned about different Canadian Olympians and how they impacted the community that they live in, and then we culminated with building of an Olympic Village together.
Throughout the year, the grade ones have worked through a variety of inquiries, which have hopefully and are leading towards a more independent approach to inquiry in our present investigation.
In grade 3 and 4, we had brainstormed different questions about the Olympics and the Winter Olympics that the students were curious about, and we finally narrowed it down to what criteria was used to choose the host city for the Olympic Games. And after exploring what we already knew about the Olympics, we came up with other questions and subtopics of what we needed to know in order to answer that question. Through the whole process, as the teacher, I learned that what I really need to work on with the students is their perseverance, that when they come to a question that they can't really answer or find it just by Googling, how are they going to go about finding their answer, and also to try to push them to ask thicker questions that can't be Googled.
So in the intermediate division, we're pretty much in the thick of it right now. We didn't manage our time as well as we may manage it next year, but we did move just from a guided inquiry where students were proving a significant impact in the technology of their choice, and we've morphed now into the free inquiry of Genius Hour. And we started just by generating a lot of buzz about what it's like to have autonomy and choice, and we found the kids were just thrilled, and they had such amazing ideas of what they wanted to learn. And we did a lot of work with giving each other feedback on their ideas and setting attainable goals in the length of time that we did have to engage in this project, which is about 10 to 12 weeks. Students pitched their ideas, and again, there was student feedback and teacher feedback. And now we're in the process of them engaging in their own learning. It is, even though we're calling it free inquiry because they had a lot of choice, there still is quite a bit of teacher direction and teacher in the form of giving feedback and conferencing. So we're doing a lot of conferencing. We've set out very specific goals of how they are to track their own learning, reflect, and set goals for more learning. And we haven't quite developed what the sharing is going to look like yet, but we're really excited.
And we're done.
Was that awful?